Welcome to Durs Codes, aka Mohammed Anders, aka Agency 7. Right now we're working on our AI flow.video app that's using Remotion and Claude SDK wrapper. As you can see,
I've been working in this computer all day and I felt like something is about to happen. Gotta call Mohammed and see what's going on.
so we've got video that we pulled from MidJourney and audio from 11 Labs, and it's been put on the timeline by instructions from our chat here. I'm just going to put in my API key. Just hold on. Okay, we're connected. So the last thing I was working on, I was trying to get SRT files to add to the timeline so that we could have subtitles. And eventually we're going to want these videos and audios to be generated right from here. And then we can add animations and do editing and all those sorts of things all within a chat. So if we check out, oh, we're missing one thing. We're missing a little soft murmur. Okay, now that the birds are chirping, let's check out where we left off. So we've got some docs here and our task, workflow automation engine, asset management, performance optimization. Yeah, I'm not sure what phase we're at. We can ask, but let's try and get that SRT. So it says we're connected to the current composition. And if we go at media, or no, slash media dash current at SRT slash 1, and we hit send, we get an error. So let's run this through, and we're going to go Claude, and I'm going to put this in plan mode. And I got some other videos to work on, so we'll switch it up pretty soon here. See if there's anything happening on the tube.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm here to talk about everyone's favorite subject, vibe coding, and somewhat controversially, how to vibe code in prod response. So let's talk about vibe coding and what. So first of all, I'm Eric. I'm a researcher at Anthropic. Focused on coding. I was the author, along with Barry Zhang, of Building Effect, where we outlined for all of you our best science and best practice creating agents, no matter what the. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. Last year, I actually broke my hand while biking to work and was in a cast for 2 months, and Claude wrote all of my code. And so figuring out how to make this happen effectively was really important to me, and I was luckily able to figure that out well and sort of help bring that into a lot of Anthropic's other products and in our model. So let's first start talking about what is vibe. A lot of people really conflate vibe coding with just extensive use of AI to generate, but I think this isn't quite true. A lot of people, they're using Cursor, they're using Copilot. It's a lot of AI, and a lot of the code is coming from the AI rather.
Okay, so what's it saying? Being registered twice from the static file and from local storage, a deduplication strategy.
Subagent complete.
I don't know if this is right. So, the problem with this could be that the AI composition static is for rendering purposes, because we can't render out of local storage. So could you
All set and ready for your next step.
Because I don't want to break the rendering. That sounds like our other agent is ready. Excellent. Task 11 has successfully been completed. All 3 AI lead magnet types are now fully implemented. The system now supports dynamic content generating for any industry, real-time progress, tracking analytics, full branding customization. Okay. We don't have to do integration testing yet. Let's do a manual test. So first of all, we'll come back to that. Let's check out here. Is this still running? No. Okay, so we need to run in here, and this will be on 3001 now. 3004. Interesting. 3004. So now in edit mode, we go to the CTA lead magnet. It's supposed to be like a whole chat interface. So let me go back and see what it executed. I'm gonna ask it, have you implemented the chat feature yet? Like, what can I test out of the features you've implemented for the task manually? Let's check in here. So instead of removing the static file, I'll implement a smarter deduplication strategy. Modify the registration in the root, duplicate AI in the root, add logic to check the composition ID already exists. Environment detection.
Your agent needs your input.
Okay, this sounds fine to me. Let's see here. Phase 1 task. I thought it said it did phase 1. Yeah, let's see. So task, phase 1, phase 1. Oh, okay, I see. I'll escape out of here. And we're gonna say continue to do task 12 integration tests. Do task 12 integration test, and then go back to our video editor. We can go to cursor, check here.
Your agent needs your input.
Why is that so loud? I thought I turned that down. Oh, maybe because sound isn't going through. Oh, that's right. Everything's right there. Oh, 11 labs was way too loud. I apologize. Let's see here. We have generated media composition. So we may have lost our other part, but let's see if we can add to it again. So slash media and SRT slash one media dash current, then refresh to see it, Don't see any subtitles. I have a command in Claude for console. That's console. Here we go. So we first want this command, and then we want to run our work. We want to run our command clear send. Then we want to go back to Claude. We want this guy and paste. Oh, not there. Paste here. Now we have all the logs, and they're expanded, meaning like we can see what's inside of here, every single part. And now we go into cursor, Claude, and we say, when I try to add an SRT file to the composition, it won't add. It says it's connected, and when I hit refresh, it's not there. It's just a black screen with the words of the composition on it. I'll paste in those 360 lines of logs. Plan mode, let that percolate. Implement comprehensive integration test, the AI-powered lead magnet system. Okay, sounds good to me. Just check in with, I'm gonna close this one. Funnel fix, still working.
Them writing itself. But I think when you are still in a tight feedback loop with a model like that
your agent needs your input.
When I say vibe coding,
that's still too loud. Oh, it's probably not too loud for you. Probably because my sound input is this. Yeah, it's probably just doubling up. Let's check in with ChatGPT. I'm gonna try a little experiment here with AI Studio. So AI Studio lets you do this stream function and then see the voices.
Ready to build something awesome?
Got a project in mind?
Ready to make something amazing?
What sparks your interest? Got a project in mind?
Okay, leave it at that. We're going to share our screen, share this screen. Can you see my screen? Oh, I was having this issue earlier. I'm going to do a comment update because it might help.
Working on some kind of funnel design. What can I help you with?
Okay, so let's turn them down a bit.
Okay. You just want to adjust the numbers in the headline. I see the current headline says, how I generated 137 high-ticket coaching leads, just $4.07 each inside 3 days. What numbers would you like to change it to?
No, I just want to have you here while I'm coding. I don't really need you to assist in that way, just like comment on what I'm doing.
All right, I understand. I'm here to keep you company then. Just let me know if you want to chat about anything, or if you need any help. I see you're making changes to the headline now. You've changed the number from 137 to 75. What's next?
Okay, I never did that, but I'm working on this. You know what? This isn't a good feature for this.
Okay, I see you've switched to a different screen now. It looks like you're looking at some code and a project plan. You mentioned that the previous feature wasn't a good fit. What are you working on now?
Can you read the highlighted text?
Sure. The highlighted text says, here's Claude's plan to fix the SRT subtitle display issue. Root cause. 1. The SRT subtitles aren't displaying properly because A. AI.tsx doesn't handle SRT data when recreating compositions from local storage. B. Only subtitle file paths are passed to local storage, not the parse SRT entries. 2. The media composition component needs to parse SRT files and pass the entries to the media composition component. Solution approach. 1. Import the media composition function from AI/root.tsx. 2. Use the SRT parser to load subtitle entries. 3. Pass the parse SRT entries to the media composition component. 4. Update local storage schema to store parsed SRT entries in local storage to avoid reparsing on load. It seems like you're working on integrating subtitle functionality.
Okay, it's transmuting now.
Okay, I see you've initiated the transmutation process. It looks like the code is being processed based on the plan. Let me know if there are any specific parts you'd like to discuss while it's running.
I'm gonna try a Perplexity chat. I
You're-
still don't understand why that's so loud. Okay, so first of all, while this is going and we're thinking...
I'm here to talk about everyone's vibe and somewhat controversially how to vibe code in prod and of low stakes. It was people building video games, building sort of fun side projects, things where it's okay if there was a bug. So, why do we even care about vibe coding? If it seems like something where the stakes are really high if you do it for a real product, and the most successful cases of it are kind of these toy examples or fun things where the stakes are very... And my answer for why we should care about vibe coding is because of the exponent. The length of tasks that AI can do is doubling every 7 months. Right now, we're at about an hour, and that's fine. You don't need to vibe code. You can have Cursor work for you. You can have Claude Code write a feature that would take an hour, and you can review all that code, and you can still be intimately involved as the AI is writing a lot of your code. But what happens next year? What happens the year after that? When the AI is powerful enough that it can be generating an entire day's worth of work for you at a time, or an entire week's worth of work, there is no way that we're going to be able to keep up with that if we still need to move in lockstep. And that means that if we want to take advantage of this exponential, we are going to have to find a way to responsibly give into this and find some way to leverage this I think my favorite analogy here is like compilers. I'm sure in the early day of compilers, a lot of developers, really didn't trust them. They might use a compiler, but they'd still read the assembly that it would output to make sure it looks, how they would write the assembly. But that just doesn't scale. At a certain point, you start needing to work on systems that are big enough that you just have to trust. The question, though, is how do you do that responsibly? And I think sort of my challenge to the whole software industry over the next few years is how will we vibe code in prod and do it? And my answer to that is that we will forget that the code exists, but not that the product. Thinking again to that compiler analogy, we all still know that there's assembly under the hood, but hopefully most of us don't need to really think about what the assembly actually is. But we still, are able to build good software without understanding that assembly. And I think that we will get to that same level with software. And one thing I really want to emphasize is that this is not a new problem. How does a CTO manage an expert in a domain where the CTO is not themselves an expert? How does a PM review an engineering feature when they themselves can't read all the code that went into? Or how does a CEO check the accountant's work when they themselves are not an expert in financial accounting? And these are all, problems that have existed for hundreds or thousands of years, and we have solutions to them. A CTO can still write acceptance tests for an expert that works for them, even if they don't understand the implementation under the hood. They can see that these acceptance tests pass and that the work is high. A product manager can use the product that their engineering team built and make sure that it works the way they expected, even if they're not writing the code. And a CEO can spot check you're going to need to let go of in the way that every manager, in order to be most productive, is going to need to let go of some details. And just like us as software engineers, we let go of some of the details of understanding the assembly itself that's happening. And the way that you do this while still being safe and being responsible is to find an abstraction layer that you can verify, even without knowing the implementation underneath. Now, I have one caveat.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know why you're so loud though. Okay, so let's pull in chat. Let's just look up. So first of all, we're focusing on two things. So right now, we're splitting our time. We've got AI flow, and we've got funnel fit, our funnel fix. Now, essentially, to run this command, let's see. So, okay, you know what? Let's just pull up projects and 11 o'clock, let's just do things. You're gonna yell at me like that. Sure, go ahead. Still don't like how loud it is. Okay, so think this through. Project, CD, agency 7AI. We are looking for Flipbook, CD, Flipbook, npm run dev, ls, CD, Flipbook, npm run dev, fix deduplication. Okay, so let's check into that. Studio server's disconnected. We've got run it here, and it'll pop open on its own. And another tab, though, of course. And now we've got our. We don't have any composition anymore. Let's see if it creates one. So we gotta put. You know what? Probably in this session because it's under a different port. 3005. Too much stuff for a minute. Okay, so I don't see it. Yeah, let me pull up my key. Okay, we're connected. So let's try and do in one swoop. See, it's saying now that's not found. Well, yeah, maybe it's in local storage or something. Like, shouldn't even be looking for that. Application, their site data. That'll probably make me enter the token again. Yeah, and it's still saying composition ID. So we're going to say @media, no, /media, @video, /1, @audio, /1, @SRT, /1, send. Okay, hit refresh. What is going on with this app now? Composition, okay. Added one and an audio. Okay.
I've been working in this computer all day and I felt like something is about to happen. Gotta call Mohammed and see what's going on. Ah man, the power just went out. Now what? I've been working in this computer all.
Okay, so that's not so bad. I mean, it's not really that powerful yet, but we're getting there. Just wanted to show you another experiment I was working on. So if we go to here, 2003, this is Flipbook Reader, and these are all my ChatGPT histories. So what I'm hoping to do, find one that looks interesting. Business investment fund, helps indigenous community own business capital and business development opportunities. And it has this summary and key entities, and you can ask it a question. But what I want to do, architect mode, what's this?
That today, which is tech debt. So
one thing none of these AIs do is have like casual conversations. I want to see if we can throw that in, see if there's one out there that does that. AIs that have casual voice conversation with you. Yeah, so I use this one. I haven't tried replica. Is this all chat, but looking for audio? Oh.
Hi, it's lovely to meet you. My name is
I'm quite knowledgeable.
Use me as an extension of your mind to reflect on new perspectives. And you, nice choice. Now you can hear me. What should we talk about first, Mohammed?
Okay, so we're checking in here. You fixed the SRT, so that's good. This
All set and ready.
Okay, so it finally turned the agent down. The loop turned it up a bit now. So it's saying I've successfully implemented all phase 3 tasks, AI content generation, dynamic template system, performance optimization, professional style. Which section was basic chat was 3. That's the API. Interface was 4. See, this is Salesforce analytics, but unless it's looking at a different, which phase is, okay, let's try this thing. So on my own topic.
Okay, Mohammed, what did you want to talk about? Ask me for advice, for answers, or let's talk about whatever's on your mind.
1 second.
All set and ready for your next step.
I don't think this does voice chats. It's kind of stupid. Do you do voice chat?
I sure do. You can speak with me back and forth continuously like a phone call through the Call Pi feature that's available on A, iOS app, and B, Android app. This feature can be accessed by clicking on the green phone icon.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, automation niche guide, tools list, here, restaurant. So let's try something here. Go back to Gemini. Hi Gemini, what are you looking at? Hi Gemini, what are you looking at?
I'm currently looking at a screen displaying a Flipbook reader with the title AI Discovery Process Objections. It seems to be showing a conversation between a user and an assistant about objections to an AI discovery process.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking at the next page. It's titled AI Drink Feedback Market and seems to be a different topic. What would you like to know about it?
What about this one?
This page is titled AI Estimation Tool Pitch. It appears to be a pitch for a tool that helps generate estimates for projects. The assistant is providing a refined version of the pitch. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about this?
I want you to teach me about artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a field of computer science focused on creating machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. This includes things like learning, problem solving, decision making, and understanding language. There are different types of AI, from systems designed for specific tasks, like voice assistants, to more advanced concepts that aim to replicate human-like intelligence. Is there a particular aspect of AI you'd like to know more about?
Generative AI, or actually fine-tuning.
Fine-tuning is a process in machine learning where a pre-trained model is further trained on a specific, smaller dataset. This allows the model to adapt its knowledge from the initial training to a more specialized task or domain, improving its performance on that specific task. It's a common technique for customizing models for particular applications.
How do you fine-tune a model? Let's try ChatGPT. New chat. How do you fine-tune an AI model?
Fine-tuning an AI model involves taking a pre-trained model and then training it further on a smaller domain-specific data set so it can perform better on tasks related to that domain. It typically involves a few key steps. First, you gather and prepare the data set that's relevant to your task. Then you adjust the model's training parameters, like the learning rate, and run a few training epochs. After that, you validate the model on a separate data set to make sure it's actually improving. And finally, you fine-tune until you get the performance you want. It's a bit of an iterative process, but it's definitely rewarding.
Okay, so if I were to train, what models can I fine-tune? Do they have to be open source?
That's a great question. You can fine-tune a wide variety of models. Many of the popular ones are indeed open source, which makes them easier to access and customize. For example,
Your agent
models
needs your
like
input.
GPT from OpenAI, BERT, and Experience like Roberta, Distilbert, and even image models like Stable Diffusion are all available for fine-tuning. There are also models from Hugging Face's Model Hub, which has a huge library of models you can fine-tune for different tasks. So you definitely have a lot of options.
How expensive is it?
The cost of fine-tuning can vary quite a bit depending on several factors. If you're using open source models, the main cost comes from the computational resources like GPUs or cloud services. For smaller models and data sets, it can be quite affordable, maybe just a few dollars or less. But for larger models or extensive training, the cost can add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if you're using high-end cloud services. So it really depends on the scale of your project and the resources you choose.
And
if you ever decide to dive into fine-tuning, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help with any specifics or if you have any other questions about the process.
Yeah, so I wanted to fine-tune a model potentially for an AI chat with one of the
That sounds-
models that is going to be
That's your-
trained on trained on data for FDA regulation, like the regulations for 510K.
Got it. Fine-tuning a model on FDA regulations like the 510K process sounds like a really useful application. That way your AI chat can provide specialized guidance and answers in that area. If you need any help with the specifics of the process, just let me know.
Yeah, what are the requirements for that particular submission for a medical device?
To submit a 510K for a medical device, you'll need to provide detailed information. This includes the device's intended use, design specifications, and performance data. You also need to compare your device to a similar legally marketed device known as a predicate device to show that yours is substantially equivalent. Additionally, you'll need to include labeling information and any necessary sterilization details.
Okay, so if that's the case, what would I need to train my model on if I want to create all the necessary paperwork for a quality management system so the model could generate documents?
To train your model to generate quality management system documents, you'd want to focus on several key types of data. First, you'd need existing QMS documentation and templates like standard operating procedures, quality manuals, and work instructions. You'd also want to include regulatory guidelines, especially those from the FDA, and any industry-specific standards like ISO 13485. Having examples of completed documents and any feedback or revisions can also help. Basically, the more comprehensive and varied your data set, the better your model will be at generating accurate and useful documents.
Okay, so let's check in on the video player. What do we want to do next with it? Let's just ask it what's next up in the task. So what is next up in the Cloud Code AI video editor tab? And let's check in. Funnel fix is still going. Doing task 4 and 5 of phase 1. It's interesting that it bounced around like that.
Right now, there is a measure or validate tech without most life, like the accountant example, the PM. You have ways to verify the things you care about without knowing the implementation. Tech debt, I think, is one of those rare things where there really isn't a good way to validate it other than being an expert in the implementation itself. So that is the one thing that right now we do not have a good way to validate. However, that doesn't mean that we can't do this at all. It just means we need to be very smart and targeted where we can take advantage of vibe coding. My answer to this is to focus on leaf nodes in our code. And what I mean by that is parts of the code and parts of our system that nothing depends on them. They are kind of the end feature, they're the end bell or whistle, rather than things that are the branch or trunks beneath them, like here in white. Here the orange dots are all these leaf nodes where, honestly, if you have a system like this, it's kind of okay if there is tech debt in these leaf nodes because nothing else depends on them. They're unlikely to change. They're unlikely to have further things built on. Versus the things that are in white here, the trunks and the underlying branches of your system, that is the core architecture that we as engineers still need to deeply understand because that's what's going to change. That's what other things are going to be built on. And it's very important that we protect those and make sure that they stay extensible and understandable and flexible. Now, the one thing I will say here is that the models are getting better all the time. And so we might get to a world where this gets further and further down, where we trust the models more and more to write code that is extensible and doesn't have tech debt. Using the Claude 4 models over the last week or two within Anthropic has been a really exciting thing, and I've given them much more trust than I did with 3.7. So I think that this is going to change, and sort of more and more of the stack we will be able to work with in this way. So let's talk about how to succeed in vibe coding. And my main advice here is ask not what Claude can do for you, but what you can do for Claude. I think when you're vibe coding, you are basically acting as a product manager for Claude. So you need to think like a product. What guidance or context would a new employee on your team need to succeed at this task? I think a lot of times we're too used to doing sort of a very quick back and forth chat with AI of make this feature, fix this bug. But a human, if it was their first day on the job, and you just said, hey, implement this feature, there's no way that you'd expect them to actually succeed at that. You need to give them a tour of the code base. You need to tell them what are the actual requirements and specifications and constraints that they need to understand. And I think that as we vibe code, that becomes our
Okay, so it says the AI chat is ready. Let's see. So far the funnel just looks broken. Maybe we need to stop and start the server. 3004 now. Okay, go to dashboard. Continue with Google. Oh, it's not going to be right. Oh, okay. Now if we go to edit mode, I don't see any chat anywhere. Click on CTA, lead magnet, and so if we click, okay, these are AI ones. Like one issue. Ask it first. Where in the UI is the AI chat supposed to be?
Our architect. It takes, oftentimes like 2 years to make a big and really kind of was that a good architect? And if we can collapse that time, I think engineers that are investing in their own time, they're going to be able to, learn from 4 times as many lessons as long as they're
going back to your pre-planning process. What's the balance between giving it a full product requirement document?
A bunch of stuff is running. Assalamu alaikum, Mohammed brothers and sisters, and peace to all tuning in.